There's a strange paradox in modern relationships, one most people never see until they're already caught inside it. The harder you try to explain yourself, the less respected you become. The more you react emotionally, the less attractive you feel. And the moment you stop chasing, stop performing, stop proving, something flips. She starts watching more closely, texting faster, wondering what changed. This isn't manipulation. It's psychology. And it begins with what I call the Stoic Trap. At first, emotional control looks passive, cold, almost boring. But beneath the surface, it triggers something ancient in human behavior, especially in attraction dynamics. Because humans don't chase what they fully understand. They chase what they can't read. Most men are taught the wrong lesson about emotions. They're told to be vulnerable, but what they're really encouraged to do is leak emotion without structure. Over, explain, over, share, over, react. Turn every feeling into a confession. And that creates predictability. When she knows exactly how you'll respond, when your moods rise and fall with her attention, when your validation flows freely and constantly, there's nothing left to pursue. Stoicism doesn't remove emotion. It controls its visibility. That's where the trap begins. Emotional control creates contrast. When you don't react immediately, when you don't chase reassurance, when you don't explain every silence, her mind fills the gap. And the human brain hates gaps. Silence forces interpretation. Calm invites curiosity. Uncertainty activates imagination. She begins asking questions internally. Why isn't he reacting? Did I misread him? Is he pulling away? Or is he just unbothered? And now she's thinking about you more than you're thinking about her. That's the trap. Not because you planned it, but because emotional restraint shifts the power dynamic without a single word. Here's the part most people misunderstand. Stoicism isn't emotional absence. It's emotional discipline. You still feel disappointment, attraction, desire, frustration. You just don't hand it over instantly. You don't broadcast your inner state like a public announcement. And when you don't broadcast it, something interesting happens. She becomes the observer instead of the audience. And observers lean in. There's a biological reason for this. Humans evolved to pursue scarce resources, not abundant ones. Attention that's freely available feels cheap. Emotion that pours out without resistance feels predictable. But controlled emotion feels valuable. When your calm doesn't change based on her mood, when your confidence doesn't spike with approval or crash with distance, your presence feels grounded, unmovable. And that creates tension. Not anxiety-driven tension, but magnetic tension. The kind that makes someone lean closer just to feel where they stand. This is why emotional control makes her chase harder. Not because you're withholding affection, but because you're no longer hunting for validation. You're not asking her to stabilize your emotions. You're not outsourcing your inner balance. You're complete on your own. And that kind of self-contained energy is addictive. It communicates strength without ego, security without attachment, desire without desperation. That combination is rare. And whatever is rare becomes pursued. But here's where most men get it wrong. They twist stoicism into emotional withdrawal. They turn quiet into cold, distance into dominance, silence into power. That isn't stoicism. That's avoidance wearing a mask. Real stoic control carries warmth, but it's anchored. You're engaged, not reactive. Interested, not chasing. Open, not leaking. You don't weaponize silence. You don't play games. You don't manipulate outcomes. You simply refuse to abandon yourself emotionally. And that inner steadiness disrupts unhealthy patterns. When she's accustomed to men overreacting, over-explaining, competing for attention, becoming jealous, investing too much, too soon, your composure becomes impossible to ignore. Not because it demands attention, but because it doesn't need it. Quiet confidence always speaks the loudest. Now comes the final twist of the Stoic Trap. When she begins to lean in, you must remain unchanged. The moment attention increases, the urge appears to overgive, overshare, overcorrect, to release everything you've been holding back. And that's where most men break the frame. Stoicism isn't the strategy to trigger pursuit. It's a state of being that naturally filters connection. Those addicted to chaos drift away. Those grounded in stability draw closer. And those who chase? They do so because your emotional core doesn't sway without intention. In the end, the Stoic Trap was never about controlling her. It was about mastering yourself. Your reactions. Your craving for approval. Your impulse to explain, justify, and prove. And once you do, attraction stops feeling forced not because you're doing more, but because you've stopped trying to be selected. And that's the paradox. The moment you stop seeking to be chosen is the moment she chooses you.